Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're continuing with Saturnastra Ahi. This is Chapter 9, Blood Red. The year 8, month 13, day 13, 13 a.m. Aside from Eleanor, Ahi didn't have any other humanoid friends in that town. Iago thought Ahi was a pest, and he only tolerated Ahi out of fear of the dragons. And when he dealt with other children of town, he used to get beat up on a regular basis. It also did not help that he used to laugh every time he got struck, and some of the children grew afraid of Ahi, and the more bossy children bullied Ahi even worse, and some of the beatings he got would have killed any normal human child. Ahi only bred to amuse his tormentors, and the more he bled, the deeper crimson his rose became. During these proceedings, you would imagine Flaminka would have interfered. However, fighting was a common game among feral hatchlings, and today Ahi had truly inspired the ire of the other children. Around the time Ahi arrived, a lot of things went missing. Needless to say, Ahi had stolen them. And he had a thing for shiny baubles, like glass, crystal balls, ornaments, diamonds, gold, etc. And whether the item was worth something or not, it didn't matter to Ahi. He simply had to bite down on it to see what it tasted like. And when he did not like it, Ahi played with it, and he used the reflection of the item to see something only he or his father and a few of his siblings could see, and when he did manage to see it, an imprint of whatever he saw became part of the item. In essence, if another person angled the item in the right direction, he too would begin to perceive the unperceivable. And once the floodgates are open, they can never be closed. And thievery was not a big deal in our world, and our technology made it impossible for items to be truly stolen. Anyhow, he has stolen a few personal items from the creepiest kids we had ever seen, and not put fancy 18th century European dress like putting rags on a pigs, and overnight these street urchins have become noblemen on account of having rich parents. And they may have looked the part, however, on the outside they were still brutish, tyrannical bullies. And by now we observers were fed up with those kids, and we wanted to interfere in the storyline, though it was against our primary function. And the leader was a 14-year-old brat, and he got Ahi inside his house munching on his fancy pocket watch. And as if it was the custom of the town, the leader dragged Ahi by his long red curls into the street. And unlike before, the brat whom we like to call Peter the Knife drew his fancy dagger and drew a line across his neck. And as it was to be expected, Ahi started laughing, and it was the first time one of the natives had assaulted him with a knife. And naturally, he found it hilarious, him being so powerful. And Peter yelled, you little cretin, can you understand that I'm going to slice you to ribbons? Can you see that you are going to die? He cleaned the blood running down his neck with his sleeve. And he then smiled at his attacker, and Peter too smiled, and he said in an ominous tone, all the more better. And his friend started laughing as Peter dug on his shoulder, and once again with his knife, he got like stabbed. Once again he started laughing, and since the attack was occurring at noon, Eleanor was able to see from her study what was occurring. And like always, she would run to her uncle, and in a trembling voice she said, Ahi, dear, do something. And Iago closed the book and he said, again? Not hurrying up, Iago rose from his seat as Eleanor dragged him by his hand, and during the 5 minutes which took him to reach the door, Peter and his friends had been in Ahi far worse than before, and Peter had even tried to take one of Ahi's fingers off as a souvenir. However, his knife would not cut what lay beneath Ahi's skin. Not that it matters much, since the blade was imperceptibly losing its edge due to the corrosive nature of Ahi's blood. As for his friends, they struck Ahi with sticks. And when Iago saw the knife, he yelled, oh, by the gods, do you brats wish to become murderers? And Peter said to Iago, stay out of this, old man, and I got a real beef with this brat, and before we were just playing, but this thing. He's the one who's been stealing from us, and I caught him in the act. Don't kill him, yelled Eleanor, and she reached into her pocket and she drew on the floor all the coins she had, and she also removed her ring and her laces and pearls. She said, this is all I have, please just leave him alone. Peter slowly picked up the items from the floor, and he licked the blood from his knife, big mistake, seeing as though blood red corrosive blood flowed through his veins. Haha. Guys, remember we were professionals. Alright, back to the story. And Peter heard our laughter, though he imagined that the laughter belonged to his friends. and his friends do imagine our laughter belonged to each other, and only Iago and Eleanor knew that strange laughter had not come from them. And fearing something was afoot, Iago said with a trembling voice, taking a step back, "Be mature, boys. You are going to be grown men soon, and leave Ahia alone if you know what's good for you." And Peter misinterpreted the fear in Iago's eye, and his bloodlust he imagined that Iago was afraid of him. And Peter's eyes widened into a grin. It almost mimicked the same insane grimace of Ahi, and Peter said in a soft voice, I can and I will do with this Cretan whatever I want, and I can kill him right now and nobody will care. And when they find out he's been stealing from us, they will be glad that I got rid of this pest for good. But I'm no killer. Still, he had to be punished to be made to understand. Iago said nothing, and he knew that the child spoke the truth, and at that moment Iago decided not to interfere. Come what may, thought Iago, and I wonder what kind of dragon he really is. And he is obviously not a feral dragon, and I hope he doesn't destroy the town when he eats those little brats. And Iago placed his hand on Eleanor's shoulder and shook his head, and for the following 2 hours Peter had fun with Ahi, and when he got tired of stabbing at him, he had his friends beat him up. And news traveled fast in a small town, and by now all knew that Ahi was the thief, and that Ahi was getting what he thought deserved, and the town had shown their so-called hospitality, and in exchange Ahi had stolen from them. And throughout those gruesome hours, Ahi did not stop laughing, and some of the townspeople thought that Ahi had gone insane. And the beating was stopped by Peter's father, and while his son bullied Ahi, Peter's father was cashing on his leave, and now that he had money, he was going to do what he loved best, which was to sleep. And the commotion awoke him, and when he looked out the window, he saw that his son was covered from head to toe in Ahi's blood, and Ahi was face down on the floor in a pool of his own blood. And when Peter saw his father coming, he stopped the onslaught, and throwing the knife on the grass, he giggled and said, "Hi, Pops. He has been robbing the town blind all these years, and I'm just administering a little bit of mob justice." And his father looked at Ahi and then at his son, and yawning, he said, that's enough, boys. Waxing's up. I want to go to sleep." "Yes, father," said Peter sweetly. And then he turned to Ahi and he stripped him of his robe. And Peter threw the robes on the floor, and then he urinated on it. And when they took the robes, Ahi got up slowly from the ground, and the way his body was covered in his own blood was reminiscent of the creature known as Blood Red. And his long curly hair looked straight and straightened with blood, and at the moment Ahi was a mirror image of the Blood Red from yonder times, and he had the same green Blood Red wore whenever he was about to commit a massacre. And when the townspeople saw him, a chill ran down their spine. They had a subconscious fear of the creature that was known as Blood Red, and they thought that they had forgotten his name. They thought that they knew nothing of his story, and the fear of the man that ran deep in their veins, and a fear they had inherited from their forefathers. And Iago whispered below his breath while trembling from head to toe, "Blood Red." And at that moment he realized the difference between his kind and the humans, and his smile faded, and when he saw the defiled robes of his father, and he walked over to his robe and he picked them up, and he dusted them in the air and neatly folded them into a bundle to carry them beneath his arm. And without saying a word, he made his way back towards the forest. And when Eleanor saw he departed, she ran after him, yelling, "Ahi, come back, please don't go." And she was about to touch his shoulder when Ahi said without turning around, "Don't touch me." Eleanor flinched when she heard Ahi snap at her, and she clutched at the ends of her dress as tears rolled down her cheeks, and she repeated, sobbing, "Don't go." Ahi said nothing, and he simply left the town without saying anything else, and many years would pass before Ahi would dare to step foot in Praga again. Alright, so that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.